And a very good afternoon to you folks on Speed Gaming 3. Welcome to the A Link to the Past Randomizer 2 p.m. daily race. We got a good one for you today, folks. We have a standard 7-7 defeat Ganon Seed. We will be going through the escape sequence, rescuing Zelda, and then doing whatever we need to do to defeat Ganon. On stream today, we have Tale, Ricky of Kokiri, Illis, and Humbug on stream, along with our other community racers. On comms today, I am your host, Captain MD13, and I am joined today by Koi. How you doing today?
I don't have nearly as much energy as you do, but I'm here. I'm here.
No worries about that. It happens to all of us. But what are you hoping to see today in this seed?
I'd like to see just a nice seed. I feel like Rando. It's so often the worst seed I've ever seen, and just once, let's have like a nice seed where nobody can get trolled too hard.
I'm sure all of our runners are hoping for that today. Now, one thing about the seed is it is a defeat Ganon seed, so unlike the fast Ganon seeds, we will not be skipping straight to Ganon right after that 7th crystal. We will have to go through Ganon's tower and defeat Aghanim too. I will say I appreciate the sprite diversity we have today. Tale has brought along the Shy Guy. Ricky has brought Zelda in a Zelda game. How appropriate. Humbug has brought up Yoshi, and Illis will be bringing, I believe this is a character from Stardew Valley.
No, it's from Toho, I thought.
Toho? You'll have to forgive me. Outside of most Nintendo games, my knowledge of characters is terrible.
This is the only game I really play. I've calmed Illis before and I've been corrected enough times.
Fair enough. Looks like we will be getting started in just a couple of moments here. Let's, what weapon are you hoping to see in the escape sequence today?
Bombs.
You want a bomb start?
Always bombs. Bombs is the best start. Bombs is the most fun because it has like the most interesting tech for it. And then also, it's nice because you don't have to look for bombs because, hey, you already got 10 of them.
Unless, of course, you find 3 in the chest in the sank later. And apparently the seed is sub 2 hours guaranteed, and we are off. On the subject of bombs.
There you go. Now I want the hammer start.
Yeah, that'd probably be the thing our runners want to find. We got a nice early map check. Pendant, Hera, Red Crystal, Eastern, Regular Crystal, Desert. So 1 Pendant in the Light World and 1 Pyramid Fairy Crystal. Should make things interesting later down the road. Ooh, and we get a bow start.
Yeah, bow's pretty good. Not quite as fast as the hammer, but, very, very easy way to just kill everything.
Did somebody say instant red crystal?
So the full magic drop from the green guard confirms that the guards do have bombs in their drop hole. In fact, an 8 bomb drop. I believe it is the 4th or 5th drop. But we put those 3 bombs from Link's house. It will not be necessary to get those.
Well, at the very least, it may convince our runners to not think about farming or getting kill points later down the road.
Yeah, what I do here is I just kill the guards that are directly in my way, just to avoid having to walk around them, and maybe kill an extra rope or 2, hoping to get that 8 bomb drop, just so I can have some extra bombs for Kakariko.
Surely. Oh, well, Bo immediately got outclassed by Fire Rod, and with that full magic drop as our first drop, that is a very conveniently placed Fire Rod. Not only that, it puts Armos Knights into logic.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Yes, as a side effect of version 31, dark rooms with torches are now considered in logic if you can light them with the Fire Rod as well, so the Fire Rod now is a logical light source in certain rooms. Wow, really? We get the hammer in the second chest?
Go mode at 6 minutes.
Oh,
Incoming?
please now. I know you
I
said you
did
wanted a
ask for a
good
nice
seat, but this
save,
is
yeah.
too easy. Now we can pretty much, with a lamp, we can logically clear pod now once we get Dark World access. This is getting ridiculous.
There's a dark side to seeds like this though, where you get tons of stuff early.
Very
The more
true.
things you have early, the more of the game is open, which means the more places they could hide the ice rod or the Meyer medallion and things like that.
Very true. In Zelda's Cell, we get the key to the sewers. That was pretty much guaranteed. Well, actually, no. At that time, it was 50-50. No sign of the map yet, though. All right, Illa's pulling a little bit ahead of Tale here, but overall, our runner's pretty tight-knit here as we go into the back of Escape.
Pumping is strong.
It's literally a 2-second difference between the top end of your screen here. Let's hope it stays nice and tight throughout the entirety of the seed. So with everything we have now, let's with hammer and bow and fire rod. If the big key's not in its vanilla location, yeah, we can clear Armos Knights already and get a red crystal.
Even if it is vanilla, though, I can't imagine the dark room is going to stop many of our runners.
Absolutely not. And Eastern Palace's dark room is a little one of the more easier dark rooms by comparison to others like Meyer and Pod.
Still no map. Maybe it might be in Sanctuary Chest, in which case we'll get to find out who's been counting items.
Very true.
I never count the items. Way too much brain power required.
Yeah, item counting, especially if you're switching between normal and key sanity modes a lot, that can trip you up. We have Illis, our first runner into the back of Escape. We got 3 items up for grabs here, including our a heart container, the map, and a heart piece. So there is an item in the Sank chest. Luckily.
Tala, unfortunately, missing that first bomb throw is going to be short a bomb for Kakariko.
I'm a little less worried about the bomb than I am the hearts initially, because they almost she almost bombed herself in the face to take her out.
Kind of a little close there, but there's hearts in those pots.
Indeed. Illis, our first runner out of the Escape at 550, is rewarded with another 10 sticks for the bow they got at the start of the game.
Saving quitting. I think it's going to go straight to Eastern.
I am not the slightest bit shocked by this play. You got a super early bow. You got fire rod. Why not? Oh, maybe quick detour to buy bombs and check the Lake Hylia Island. Not even buy bombs, never mind.
I thought he was going to splash delete to Hobo. I'm disappointed now.
We've got Humbug going to check the Lumberjack ledge, as well as probably see what the Bush Crab has for us. Meanwhile, Tale is going into the Lost Woods. On the Bush Crabs, we get fairies. Fascinating. First item in the Lost Woods is a shield, big 20 on the Lumberjack ledge, 2 heart pieces, and a big 20 in Sahasrala's closet.
There's 8 bombs there from the tree pull.
Now that's pretty helpful.
Did Humbug not do the tree pull?
I don't think so. Humbug was setting up for the tree pull, but got hit by the buzz blob while the sign was in his hand. To answer a question in chat from Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuner Tracker, Lumberjack Ledge only had a big 20. And yeah, look at this. It's less than 7.5 minutes. We've got just over 7.5 minutes, I should say. We have Illis going into Eastern Palace.
Yeah, it's not crazy or anything. Like, there's very few items that could make this trip into Eastern more efficient, but there's several things that can make Kakariko more efficient that you might find in Eastern.
Yes, most namely the flute and the flute and a bottle. Talai found a lot of money and some health in the back of Blind's hideout. I blinked and I missed what was in the first chest of Eastern, though.
Oh, I have no idea. Boomerang, I think?
Wow. Revenge of the convenience for Talai as she picks up the flute on the bottle vendor. So yeah, get your 07s in chat. We've already got a loose goose at 8:45. And the big key was in the second chest of Eastern, so Armos Knights is in fact in logic.
Mirror in the back of Tavern there.
Yes, we also got Bombos in the bottom of the well, and our other bow is in Kakariko Well.
That's one of those very few things that would have made Eastern more efficient.
And Cane of Samaria to go with it. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to Stackerico Village.
Illis opting not to go to the vanilla big key chest. It's out of logic, but it can have the third item for this dungeon.
Indeed. I don't know if we've seen the map.
Yeah, we're missing the map, but we found the compass.
Apparently the first chest of Eastern had the red meringue, I think.
Yeah.
And no sign of the map, so if it's not on Armos Knights, then Illis will have a lucky break here.
It feels to me like such a big gamble this early in the seed. Like when you're looking for 15 items for Go mode, it feels really dangerous to skip a chest like this. But it might just be that map, like you're saying. In which case, nothing's lost.
Ooh.
Never mind.
That's a bit unfortunate. So unfortunately, there is an item lamp-locked in Eastern Palace. But Illis draws first blood at just under 11 minutes.
Now, it's still way more likely for it to not be progression in there than for it to actually be progression. So it's not the end of the day for Illis here. But that's a very, very unfortunate place to orphan an item because you do not want to have to walk all the way back through Eastern for that one item.
Although, assuming pot is a crystal, or even if pot has to be checked regardless, there is a way that this can be mildly salvaged. We already have the hammer and bow, so generally pot isn't going to be a big deal, and since mirror is free, we can pretty much just mirror out after pot and go pick that item up later if necessary.
I would be incredibly surprised to see Illis do that chest until like every option he has is terrible. And Pod's such a nice place to go. It's probably like one of the first places he'll go after Dark World access.
Yes, we got Ricky checking the race game, and it's just a heart container, which he elects to pick up.
I mean, you go all the way through the race game. You gotta take your reward, as small as it is.
Oh.
A green pendant pod. Okay, so that's better news. Illis is probably not going to go straight to pod then.
Interesting. So we know where two of our pendants are. Ricky is our only runner checking the South Shore, as Tale and Humbug are checking out the Eastern Palace area now. With the silver arrows early, this should be pretty much free.
Yeah, standard routing usually involves just going to crystal dungeons as soon as you can full clear them. But not everyone's as comfortable with dark rooms. And then with the mirror in hand, like you were saying, like being able to combine Pod and Eastern, it's not super crazy to not immediately go to Eastern when you might be able to do it with Pod later.
Indeed, the Dark World options are already quite significant. We have the Fire Rod for Skull Woods. We need a sword for Mothula, but we have the Hammer to full clear Thieves Town. We could illogically full clear Pod, but plenty of options this early start to the seed. All right, Ricky has succeeded in Mini Moldorm Cave and has picked up the hook shot, along with 10 sticks, blue mail, another heart container, and more bombs. So, Death Mountain, anybody?
Yeah, let's go Pendant Tower of Hera. Sounds
Why
good.
not? It's full clearable. Oh, that's something else, ladies and gentlemen. And with 8 heart containers and blue mail, Ricky should have no problem getting over to Ice Rod Cave.
We'll see here if Humbug opts to go for that dark room chest or gamble on the boss. All right, so Humbug playing a little more thoroughly here, not wanting to take that gamble. Gonna make sure that he gets all 3 items out of this dungeon.
Makes a lot of sense. And despite all the cash we have picked up, unfortunately we do not have access to the logical access to the Zora area. No flippers, no glove. But I do foresee a trip to Death Mountain in these runners' near future.
Tala taking that same gamble as Illis did, skipping the vanilla Big Q chest.
We shall see if this ends up ultimately being the proper move or not. Oh no.
Oh no! Okay,
Welp.
well, that's actually good news though. In the grand scheme of things for Tala and Illis, because the Moon Pearl is going to lock the majority of the game, and they will be forced to come back here much sooner. Moon Pearl is way better of a progression item for there rather than like the Ice Rod.
Yeah, Humbug pretty much just got a significant advantage over Illis and Tala here.
Yeah, Illis and Tala are going to full clear everything they possibly can before going back to Eastern.
Oh.
And with the mountain it being in logic, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Ricky's already going into Paradox Cave.
And assuming we find like a glove on the mountain, they might even like go to Zora before going back to Eastern.
Yeah, flippers and glove are actually something they want to see. The other runners now want to see junk up on the top of Death Mountain, so that way it doesn't lure them anywhere else. And I never thought I'd say that.
So worst case scenario is we know that the lamp's going to be somewhere, right? Because the Moon Pearl's locked by the lamp. But the worst case scenario would be is if there's also a cape and a sword or 2 swords. Because I think they would both do Aga for Moon Pearl on the Pyramid before going back into Eastern.
Probably. And it looks like we got a book and a bottle in back of Paradox Cave. So that means we can check the front side of Desert, or at least some of it, depending on if it's boots locked. We can also have a quick peek at the Ether Tablet. Now the next $1 million question is, where are those gloves? Now we can't full clear desert yet because A, we're not sure if it's boots locked, and B, we don't have a lift upgrade to get to the back. But Ricky's first stop is going to be into Pendant Terra. 2 items up for grabs here.
Yeah, it seems likely that there will be some progression up here.
And the basement of Hera is not required for Moldorm, and we found an item on the basement, so... Ooh, Illis is going to rescue the old man for us real quick. Gets another piece of heart for the trouble.
Yeah, the dark room locking the old man is relatively simple compared to most other dark rooms, so generally you don't really see people waiting for the lamp before doing that.
Yeah, and you only have to do it halfway, too, because you're only going in one side of a dark room and out the back out it later. I completely blinked and missed what was in the top of Spectacle Rock there. But we do get our first sword in the big chest of Tower of Hera, and that means that is all for Tower of Hera besides a pendant.
Yeah, Ricky save and quits, doesn't get the pendant off Moldorm. But he does have both items, so it's not really a big deal unless there's something on pedestal.
Oh, and you know what? Fire Rod, sword, mirror, book. You thinking what I'm thinking after Skull Woods?
That Illis and Tali won't go to Eastern?
No, ped check.
Okay.
My favorite activity of the day when we get Dark World access. Now, Ricky did not do Spiral Cave, interestingly.
Yeah,
And
often you see players skip Spiral Cave because it just takes forever. In this situation, though, I don't think it makes a ton of sense when you're looking for Darkhold access. There's only so many places in the game that can have something.
it'll be hilarious if there's a glove in here in Desert, even more so if it's boots locked. Our last pendant is in Ice Palace, and I did not see where our other 5/6 crystal was. I'm going to take a quick look at my playback real quick here. The other crystal is in Swamp Palace. And we can already full clear it.
Will's going for a little
Oh, no, we can't.
dangerous
No flippers.
bomb jump here and makes it. And also deciding to leave the pendant behind.
There's our lamp in the east side of Desert Palace. And our big key, so that means Desert Palace is not boots locked, but no lift upgrade. Yeah, Ricky's going to be really happy with that because it'll be easy to combo Pod and Eastern. Just a compass on the torch. Ooh, just a map. That means that
Fortunately,
Land
Flamo
Molus
has
does have an
it.
item.
Yeah, so this will be an unfortunate double dip of desert, but
Oh
you know, if
my
we wait
God.
long enough. we can go
Illis
into
just
the
picked
back.
up the flippers at a spiral cave.
Better than the cape.
Remember when you said it's unlikely Spiral Cave has progression?
That's not what I said.
Or something along that, or it's unlikely?
No, it's like Spiral Cave takes a long time, so you often see people try and skip it, you
That's
know,
what
because like a
that's what I
little bit
meant.
of time save here and there.
Sorry, poor choice of words on my part.
I thought it was too big a gamble because when you're looking for Darkhold access, that means there's very little of the game that's actually open. So every location is more likely than normal to have something you need.
Well, you know what the funny part about that is? Now Swamp Palace is going to be full clearable after Dark World access.
Yeah, and we'll just be a Mitza away from Ped being in Logic.
this is just absolutely hilarious right now. I don't think I've seen a more stacked 22-minute start to this seed. To a seed.
So we'll probably see Illis go after Flipper checks next. Tala right behind.
Indeed. Now, the question's going to be, how many more checks are we going to see before Tala and Illis go back to Eastern and pick up the Pearl?
All of them. Every last one. When you leave a location like Eastern Big Chest behind like that, going back to it at any point is an automatic time loss, right? Because you're behind anybody who didn't leave it behind. So the only way it's not the worst thing ever is if it's empty. So you have to assume that it's empty.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that it's the vanilla big key chest too, because it's all the way in the back. But actually, thinking about it, logically, Eastern was a forced double dip for Dark World access.
Was it?
Or not Eastern. Hold tight a minute. Oh, the glove was on the bridge guy. Seed, stop. And with that, Aga 1 is totally dead. Humbug is our first runner into the Dark World. I imagine first check on his to-do list is going to be Hype Cave. So let's think this through for a minute. Desert's full clearable, Swamp Palace is full clearable, Skullwoods and Thieves Town are full clearable. Literally the only neat thing we need for Total Rock are Mitts and Ice Rod. We find another sword in Hype Cave, along with the Magic Cape. So, sword and the cape. I mean, considering that's our second sword, I don't know. I'd say 5 out of 10 hype.
Did we find a second sword?
Humbug just found one in Hype Cave along with the cape.
I was thinking if it was in the light world for
Nope.
Aga.
No, there was gloves on the bridge guy, so luckily Aga 1, we got an Aga 1 bailout right there. Yeah, Humbug, you gotta drain the swamp first before you can get in. So yeah, I was just talking about what we still need to do for Go mode. We literally just need Ice Rod, Titan's Mitts, maybe, and Medallions, possibly. Because we can literally clear everything else besides Myra and Total Rock.
All the fun items.
Not too often, first stop you see in a Dark World access is Swamp Palace.
Well, there's the Ice Rod.
No scam today.
So Illis doing the flipper checks before Desert Palace is going to turn out really, really well. He's going to be able to single dip Desert here. Where Tala has to double dip it.
Very true. And Ricky did not skip the vanilla big key chest, so is our second runner with the Moon Pearl. Yeah, no, Illis, yeah, with, unfortunately, Tala did not pick up those gloves yet. He's going to pick them up very soon. And conveniently, anybody who has not done the flippers checks, nice thing about the flippers checks is that if you haven't, you have mirror, so you can just route it in with catfish, as chat points out.
Okay, sorry about that. I was a little distracted. People were ringing my doorbell. What did I miss?
Not too much.
Things, I'm sure.
Humbug's just taking a quick peek in Swamp Palace. We've seen only bombs and rupees so far. Tala's about to pick up the Dark World access, and this is literally after he had to nope out of Desert, by the way. So yeah, frustration slashes ahoy.
Well, he still has to go back for that, or she still has to go back for that Moon Pearl.
That too.
Yeah, so Tala doing Desert before Flipper checks means she's going to go all the way back to Desert once more to kill the boss, and then finally go back to Eastern when she's run out of locations.
Yeah, she's going to end up double dipping Eastern and Desert, and that's not particularly pleasant.
And imagine if Lambo, who has a mystery item right now, drops Aga access.
Yeah, like another sword, which is really the only thing it could have that would warrant Aga access. We get the big key and the compass, which means there is an item in left side swamp. I totally blinked and looked away for a split second when Humbug opened that chest. I thought for a minute it was a blank item, but no, it definitely wasn't.
Bloomerang.
Okay, it was probably well camouflaged then. That's why I didn't catch it. Alright. Tala picking up her not scam item today. Humbug elects to use fighter sword spins on Argus.
I guess like the Ice Sword is like the one nice thing about having orphaned the Moon Pearl. And like it might be a while before Humbug opts to go to Zora.
Yeah, unfortunately. And Ricky elects to do the fake flipper to get to the Zor area, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because I don't think there was anything on the Zor ledge, but it is going to net him his Ice Rod. To answer question chat, Humbug did get the sword out of Hype Cave, but did not pick up the other sword out of the Tower of Hera Big Chest. Yeah, Zora's ledge was just 10 sticks. Illis, meanwhile, has defeated Land Molists. Humbug got a vanilla heart. Come again?
Lamo did not drop Aga access.
Okay. Humbug got a heart container out of Argus, and that is the second red crystal. You have to figure a trip to Pyramid Ferry is next up on Humbug's to-do list, right?
Seems likely. Opting not to go left side?
That is, that's interesting too, because there is an item back there, as well as an item in, possibly something in the big chest. And with considering how many items we've already seen orphaned today that has ended up being big fat no-nos, this is making for an interesting seed for sure.
Yeah, it's not really the end of the world or anything, even if there is progression there. I'd say going back for left side swamp is a lot more likely to happen than going back for the eastern vanilla big key chest like Illis is having to do now.
Indeed, just because it can be so, it's a much more common location to orphan, and by extension, a much more common location to go back to later. Chad was also bringing up that it may also be that Humbug just decided to rush Pyramid Ferry, which makes a lot of sense. Just a hard piece on the Pyramid ledge. Nope. Pyramid Fairy was complete trash.
Ricky's still looking for that Dark World access. He's missing the gloves off Hobo. He fake flippered everything else, just didn't fake flipper Hobo. And now he's having to go all the way back to the mountain.
Yeah, unfortunately, skipping Spiral Cave is the one thing that's biting him. And Illis, I think, has realized what's happened as well and is heading back to Eastern Palace to pick up that Moon Pearl.
Yeah, Tala's in the same boat, so a bit behind. She has Gina's Cave, and then all that's left is Eastern.
Yeah, so everybody's basically about to get caught up on the items they missed, or everyone else, I should say. But Humbug is already way ahead of the bandwagon on that one, and is going to go route in Catfish with the Zord checks. This will ultimately net him his Ice Rod. And it's ironic.
The arrow. You need the arrow, man.
Yeah, that's the arrow of destiny. But that's ironic. Zora, not a scam. Catfish, probably the biggest scam ever. Except at least the arrow was free.
Alright, Illis finally has Dark World access headed straight to Hype Gate, but lots of choices on what to do after that.
Indeed, we can literally full clear everything besides Ice Mire and Turtle Rock. Literally the first 7 dungeons on the tracker we can clear.
Yeah, given the choice of dungeons, like Swamp is the most dense, but it's also the most time costly.
I gotta ask, wait, did Ricky skip out on Spiral Cave again? Because Ricky
he
seems
totally
lost. Oh, Lord. You hate to see stuff like this, unfortunately. To answer question chat, Moon Pearl was in the vanilla big key chest of Eastern Palace. Which, Tala and Illis skipped. Because we had such early Eastern Palace access. We literally had a bow. We had bow and fire rod in the escape sequence.
Yeah, so with the advanced logic, like Armos wasn't logic, Vanilla Big Key wasn't. They only had one more item left in the dungeon. It seemed like pretty good chance it was just on the boss.
And it looks like Humbug is gonna take all the equipment he's picked up and is going to go to West Side Dark World. Will he go straight to Skull Woods, or will he go to check the pedestal real quick? And the answer is probably go to Skull Woods.
Not sure what Ricky's plan here is. He cannot get to Aga. He has no way to open the barrier.
This is not swordless. The hammer does not work.
Well, Humbug started to go down to Thieves Town, but changed his mind.
Skull Woods makes a little bit more sense. It's easier to just go from top down. Yeah, unfortunately, Ricky... Yeah. Ricky skipping out on Spiral Cave is really hurting him now.
Checking the desert ledge. No, just 3 bombs.
I'd answer question chat. Yes, gloves were locked behind flippers. They were on the bridge guy.
Alright, he's headed back to the mountain. I think he realized what he did.
Yeah, luckily...
Never mind. I think he's gonna kill Moldor.
Oh, he might. That's Humbug is going straight to the back for Mothula.
Yeah, it's pretty standard routing to go to the back first when it's a crystal.
Yeah, and in fact, did we find one item already in the front of Skull Woods? I noted Humbug checked a couple chests, but I blinked and I missed it.
Oh, I'm not sure. He opened the vanilla big key chest on the way to the back. Okay, he's going Spiral Cave. Good, good, good.
I'm surprised Ricky did not route in an ether tablet check with that. But yeah, Humbug going straight to the Mothula fight with not much magic. Is going to elect for Hammer Strats.
Hitting the bug with the hammer while he's up on the top is very, very dangerous.
Now, there was a fairy in a bottle back in Paradox Cave, so they have a fairy if necessary. I think Humbug just realized this and has realized, okay, I could be a little more aggressive for the moment. And yep, that's when Ricky realized something has gone horribly wrong. Just picked up those flippers. But with this, Ricky will get the gloves, the ice rod, Dark World access, and should be back on track here. Humbug having a little bit of trouble here with Mothula, but manages to take him out. Heart container. That's 2 vanilla heart containers, by the way, for beating the bosses. So that is both items in Skull Woods. Apparently the Cane of Burna is in the big chest.
Yeah, Humbug not checked that yet, so he'll be going back for the bridge test here.
Illis, meanwhile, is trudging along through Swamp Palace. Also elects to skip left side swamp.
He may go
Ooh.
back for it. It wouldn't be crazy for him to go back for it if it's one item there.
And
But,
unfortunately, Tala had to burn her fairy in the pinball room.
I feel like Illis is not going to go back for it, though. I like, if you're the kind of player who skips that vanilla big key chest in Eastern, you're the kind of player who skips left side, right? And if you've already skipped that vanilla big key chest in Eastern and had to go back for it, you feel super behind, and you got to do something to make up for that time loss.
Indeed, although given the way this seed has been behaving, it would not shock me if there is actually still something in left side swamp like Titan's Mitts or a critical medallion.
And there is one item left side.
And it looks like Humbug is not giving us a ped check, but we may get another chance from Tala since she is going to the back second.
And Illa says, "No, thank you, left side swamp. I don't need your item, whatever it may or may not be."
Yeah, and it is only one item because apparently there were 50 rupees in the big chest. I blinked and I missed it. Let's see. We are getting a Bombos tablet check from Illis here. Just 10 sticks. And it would seem that Humbug's next port of call is going to be Thieves Town. C-shaped house only giving us 10 arrows.
So with this routing from Humbug, he has unfortunately completely orphaned Graveyard Ledge. Like the only time he'll have later to do Graveyard Ledge is during the booch checks. But if he has mitts, you can do the booch checks without going there.
True. And you need mitts for... oh, no, you don't need mitts for King's Tomb. You have Mirror.
Yeah, if he doesn't have the mitts, then he has to go there in the Dark World, in which case he would just do Graveyard Ledge then. But, you know, like, Graveyard Ledge by itself, especially when you don't have mitts or boots, is a very, very, very slow check. So often you'll see people try to avoid it. But having already done Catfish, I probably would have gone for it, just because, like, Catfish is the main reason I would come back there.
Makes a lot of sense. First check of Thieves Town. First chest was 20 bucks. The second chest was a compass. So one item in the front so far. Now, I've been seeing some discussion for pedestal in chat, and just to bring that up, given how many items we have seen, the only items that can be on ped that would matter at this point are a medallion, pretty much, or boots if needed for the GT torch. Of course, a fetch quest item leading to those items is also a possibility, but somewhat unlikely.
It's pretty standard to check ped, you know, if there's anything that could possibly be on there when you're killing Mafia with the mirror. Did Tala not do it either?
You mean check the pedestal?
Yeah.
No. Tala did not check the pedestal, it looks like. Nope.
So Illis grabs Pyramid Fairy, opts not to continue on to Catfish.
And is also going straight to Skullwoods. I mean, it makes sense to do Skullwoods before ped check, because it's easier to mirror. I mean, we all want to see it at this point, especially given what we have seen this seed. Now, we have not seen the small key yet for Thieves Town, and I don't remember if we saw a second item or not. I think we did, because I don't see the map either. So there's a shovel. So that's 3 items found in Skullwood so far. Not Skullwood, excuse me, Thieves Town.
Yeah. So Tala also chooses not to do Graveyard Ledge after Thieves Town, but this is very different for Tala because she has not done Catfish yet. So there's a world where she does Graveyard Ledge like on the way to Catfish later.
Now, if we do not see the small key in this next check here at the Maiden Cell, we can confirm that it is locked inside the big chest. If it's a map, we can confirm that the last item is on blind. That must be extremely painful, getting a 2x2 block thrown in your face.
He'll live. Or, well, he won't, but, you know.
Alrighty,
we don't care about him, he's just a Zazax.
Yep, but that is a small key, which means off to the Thieves Town big chest, methinks. And lo and behold, it is our last item. Nothing particularly important in Thieves Town this time around.
Yeah, just that shovel.
And I do not believe Humbug has gone to K45 or Stumpy, so we will most likely see that checked pretty soon.
Yeah, he hasn't, I don't know, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh no, Dig Game is what I was going to say.
Right. Unfortunately, no mitts for the Smith chain, which is a bit unfortunate, but can't get them all, I guess.
Nobody wants to do the Smith chain. It's slow. It was playing real fast and loose with that hammer, squishing the bug.
Alrighty, Humbug now with their 4th crystal at 47 minutes in. Now, Ellis, can you please do the chat a favor and check the pedestal?
There's no way. No way he's
Nope.
doing that. He skipped the Vanilla Vicky Chestnutzer. He skipped left side. There's no way he's doing that.
Ay, ay, ay. All right, Ricky checking the Bombos tablet. Unfortunately, that's just going to net a few sticks for Ricky's bow. Nice hard container in the back of the brewery. Very healthy seed, I must say. You always want to have a second line of hearts and blue mail by the time you're in Dark World.
As we run out of locations here, this really looks like pod might be the answer to our troubles.
Green pendant pod, I would not be shocked in the slightest. Oh, Illa said checked Bumper Cave, but I looked away.
It was 20 rupees.
It was 20, thank you.
So that's a little weird. He walks over to check Bumper Cave, but doesn't continue onto Graveyard Ledge. But Illis has played fairly aggressively with his routing so far.
All right, Humbug's next stop is Stumpy, and most likely will mirror into a shovel check. Nope, shovel was useless. Just trying to get menu over to the flute there. There we go.
Yeah, it won't let you switch to the flute while the shovel animation is in progress.
I think Humbug's next port of call is going to be to finish up Desert. This makes a lot of sense. You have access to 5 crystal dungeons by the time you get Dark World access. Just get those done. That way you can start thinking about dipping pendants later. Unfortunately, though, that does appear to be the case at this point. Because besides Graveyard Ledge, what other overworld checks are we still missing?
Spike Cave.
True. We can do Spike Cave.
And it was put in logic with the Cape and Hype Cave. As well as the Cannon Burn, I guess.
Yeah, Spike Cave right now is way off the table, out of the way, I should say. Not off the table, but way out of the way now.
Definitely not super crazy to go grab Spike Cave real quick before dipping into Pod. Obviously, one location isn't nearly as dense as 6 items from Pod, but it's all like time-wise, Spike Cave costs a lot less than full clearing Pod and getting nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Rando will be Rando, but at this point, yeah, really the only option we have left besides those 2 overworld checks is Pod. I would be shocked if Mitts were not in there. Or on the green pendant.
Did anybody look at Ether Tablet?
Nobody has checked Ether Tablet, interestingly. Ricky, even after the whole Spiral Cave kerfuffle, did not check Ether Tablet.
So that would make going up to Spike Cave even more valuable, right? Because you can grab Ether Tablet right before.
True. I still find it hilarious that minutes in, we were able to already get our Pyramid Fairy crystals. Alright, so right now it looks like everybody's kind of just backpedaling through each other's checks at the moment. So while they're doing that, let's take a quick moment, looks like that's already been done semi-recently, to shout out our runners, Tale Neko, Illis24, Ricky of Kokiri, and Humbug. Don't forget to give those runners a follow. They are putting on an amazing show for you this afternoon. And we also want to shout out our trackers today, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna and Nielsen Alex 92, who are making sure that they click the buttons and make sure you guys know what everybody has. And of course, shout outs to my co-commentator, Koi.
Hi. Shout out to Captain MD.
Thank you. So at this point, we're probably going to see everybody get those 5 crystals first before we see anybody even think about Dip and Potter going back up to Death Mountain. We should also give a quick shout out to Fear Agent, who has been running tech crew for us this afternoon, making sure that nothing falls apart while we try to bring the show to you folks at home.
Literally who? Oh no, Illis! What are you doing?
Oops, took a bit of a fall carrying the maiden there.
The maiden was dragging him off the edge. She does what she likes.
Decided not even going to bother revealing a monster, just take him down at the conveyor belt.
So Illis's execution through this seed has actually been quite fantastic, despite the horrible gamble and the double dip of Eastern and everything. He's like 30 seconds behind Humbug in these checks.
Very true. After this, Illis is going to be pretty much on the same in the same position as Humbug. Meanwhile, Ricky still has to go clear Skullwoods and Thieves Town, as Tali's just wrapping up or going through Swamp Palace. And it looks like Humbug is going to Pod.
Yeah, Pod definitely makes the most sense. It's definitely the most likely place to be holding your next progression item, which is probably the Myths.
Indeed, yeah. 6 items here, 5 in the dungeon, 1 on the green pendant. And yeah, that pretty much has to be... Medallions would be nice, but we can't get to anything that requires those without Titan's Mitts. One thing that has not been an issue for our runners today is economy. They all got 600 rupees right off the bat from the Thieves Town checks. Not Thieves Town, Kakariko and Thieves Hideout checks. So plenty of money to pay off Kiki the Extortionist as Humbug ventures into the Palace of Darkness. Which is bow-locked. Not that that matters, because that's literally the second thing we got today.
So very curious to see what Illis does after this shovel check. He has some options here. One of them being Left Side Swamp. And if you're ever going back to Left Side Swamp, this is when you would do it.
I think that that might be what he's doing.
He is not.
Or not. To answer question, chat, the 2 swords we know of are in the Tower of Hera Big Chest and Hype Cave.
Oh, he was trying to skip the game.
Yeah, only 6 digs for the prize today, but so it'll be at least a quick venture. And Tala's not going for Left Side Swamp either.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to skip Left Side Swamp on your first trip through the dungeon. It's when you don't know that there's gonna be an item there at all, like it might be map and compass.
There's those Uncle Bombs in Palace of Darkness that you were hoping our runners would start with.
Okay, so Illis is going up to Spike Cave and Ether Tablet. Pod, as dense as it is too big of a time investment. He wants to God Vision his way into this progression instead.
Yeah, and if Titan's Mitts ends up being up here, that is going to be a huge boost for Illis. And heck, even if a required medallion is up here, that's going to help a lot. I'm sure Illis wouldn't mind seeing the boots here either. But nope, just a little bit of love on the Ether Tablet. Wow, Palace of Darkness really being the Palace of Keys today. Must have gotten like 4 keys in the big key, but no items. Besides those Uncle Bombs.
Spike Cave is nothing.
Just a hard container.
So that leaves us 1 item left side swamp, graveyard ledge, and whatever's left from pod.
Yeah, there were just some more rupees in pod. There's the ether medallion in the dark maze. That could be very important. We still have not seen our medallions yet, and there's the map. I believe that's every check in pod besides Helmasaur.
Yeah, there'll be a item on the boss.
I don't know if we've seen the compass, though.
Yeah, we have.
We have, so there is an item on Helmasaur King.
Yeah, Humbug has to go down and grab this small key though from Stealthless Basement.
Ooh, Tala is electing to go left side swamp.
New check!
So it's really going to come down to the next 3 minutes or so here what happens. Will Tala find the mitts here in left side swamp, or will Humbug find them on Helmasaur King / the green pendant?
It's kind of interesting how Tala and Illis each reacted differently to the unfortunate move roll, right? Because they make this big gamble and it hurts them real bad, right? And Illis says, "Well, I gotta skip more things to make up for that time loss." And Tala's like, "I'm gonna do all the things and make sure I don't get burned again."
So say I, Rando of Randomizer. Get it? Instead of so say I, Hilda of Low Rule.
No, I didn't get it because I don't know what you're referencing. I'm sorry.
Link Between Worlds.
Okay. That's like a Link to the Past spinoff or something.
It's actually basically the sequel. 3DS.
And our single item left side swamp is in the other chest.
Whoops.
Oh, here it is. There it is. Our single item is
A
the
Beatorp.
bottle. Aww.
Well then, unfortunately for Tala, that did not pay off, and therefore pod is the play, unless it's in Graveyard Ledge. So wow, we got baited into such an early swamp, but it ended up being empty. Humbug, you have silver arrows.
Oh, he heard you.
Oh boy. Just to clarify something in chat, mitts cannot be on pedestal because Ice Palace is a pendant.
A wooded helmet drop?
Just blueberries.
Okay. So we have green pendant here.
If it's not the green pendant, I have no idea where it's going to be. Well, I do, but
it's the only other thing.
Or I should say I'm not going to know what to say. Spike Cave and Ether Tablet were checked, but it is on the green pendant.
Oh my god, the Titans Vans.
Pod required indeed. Now here's the next $1 million question. Are we in go mode?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Because now we need to see what the medallions are for T-Rock and Meyer. If either of them are Quake, we're still looking for a medallion. We are still looking for a medallion. It is Quake for Meyer.
How gross.
You know, given what we've seen, the key's going to be on the front doormat, right? Or not?
I don't really see you having many options at this point in the game. Like, you do these checks around Meyer just looking for a quick Quake medallion, and if it's not there, you go straight to the mountain and do Turtle Rock.
Assuming it's not Quake also.
Like, there's other options, like the Smith sequence just got unlocked, Ice Palace just got unlocked, but those are all really terrible compared to the mountain plus TR.
Indeed. And Humbug also, it should be noted, Humbug also still needs to find a second sword as he elected to pass up the one in Tower of Hera's big chest. Granted, plenty of opportunities.
Now, he went into Hera, though, right? And
I don't.
saw, like, the piece of heart, at least?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Yeah, only, I don't think anybody went to kill Moldorm either, now that I think about it.
Yeah, no one killed Moldorm, but the other three runners all went up and found the second item.
I am going to laugh really loud if Quake is on the pedestal, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm warning you right now.
Despite everybody having the mirror and the book when they killed Mothua, no one checked Ped.
I was saying earlier, Fire Rod, Sword, Mirror, Book. This is like the perfect candidacy right there.
That's like the only time I checked Ped.
All right, there in Super Bunny Cave, we have just 70 rupees. All right, next stop, Hookshot Cave. We start with $5, blueberries. There's our Quake medallion. So at 105.33, you know, boots aside, that's going to put Humbug in it's dangerous to go alone mode. Unfortunately, that does also kill the pedestal. Ah, I see what Humbug's doing. He's electing to go pick up some potions real quick before diving Turtle Rock.
Well, he'll do Meyer first now. Still missing that sword, though. It'd be interesting to see how much he wants to full clear looking for it.
All depending on when this big key shows up for Meyer.
Yeah, he may just not have a choice in full clearing.
Indeed.
But, standard routing would be to just go mode as much as possible and hope that there's a sword in GT.
Admittedly, I get kind of bummed when it's not Ether for Meyer because we never get to see a bird toss. If that happens. Or when it, we would see it if it was Ether. Now, do we have a God Meyer this afternoon?
Right. Illis immediately go into the mountain. Okay, so that's good. He'll be in go mode soon. Or, like, bootsless go mode, I suppose.
Oh, you know what? You were mentioning doing Maya first, and that actually makes more sense in the way that you can do Total Rock and then just go to GT. I didn't think about that. Whoopsie! Well, there's one of our items in Maya. It is a heart container. And there's a big key. So we have a... I like to call that the Son of God Meyer.
All right, and Humbug's going straight to Vitreous. So I imagine even if Vitreous doesn't drop the second item, Humbug will not be sticking around.
Yeah, Humbug's got pretty much everything needed to make Meyer free. With Fire Rod, maybe we'll see some spooky action. Silvers to make Vitreous a cakewalk. So I guess while Humbug is running through Meyer and everybody is doing is kind of passing through Humbug's checks right now. So let's kind of recap where we came up to this point. So the seed was hideously front-loaded with the escape sequence giving us Fire Rod, Bow, and Hammer right off the bat. Hookshot was in Mini Moldorm Cave. Kakariko had like 3 things, including... what did Kakariko have? It had another bow, Cane of Samaria, and flute, and mirror. And then what you had to do is go to Spiral Cave to get your flippers, so you can go get your glove and ice rod from Bridge Guy and Zora respectively. And from then, really all you had to do was go to Pod. And you were pretty much golden.
Yeah, you can definitely see a faster route through this game if you just gamble Pendant Pod really quickly, which wouldn't even be like that huge a gamble, because like we started so early with the bow, lamp, hammer.
Exactly, but yeah, I believe that was our second item in Meyer as well with blueberries. So Humbug is saying, I am going to Turtle Rock now. Yes, Rixus in chat points out we also needed the book from Paradox Cave, which we would have gotten during our Eastern Death Mountain checks. If we're talking about logic specifically. Humbug almost got dead rock during that hookshot grab there. But yeah, ultimately, this is one of those seeds where if it was a spoiler race especially, this would go by super quick. Ooh, Ricky getting a little bullied by those hard hat beetles back there. And Tala getting the bad news that she needs to go to Sahasrara to get that, to get those Titans mitts.
So after all said and done, Illis has made up quite a bit of time from those early game fumbles. Getting to skip Graveyard Ledge and Catfish, and just by sheer execution has made up quite a bit of time on Humbug here. Humbug's still ahead though, but his entire run resides on there being a sword on the way to Ganon.
Very true. And interestingly, it was Quake for Turtle Rock, so there was a key under the mat, just the wrong mat we were thinking of.
Tala with her mitts gonna do the same thing everybody else did. Immediately go check Meyer and then head over to Dark Death Mountain, I'm sure.
It would also appear we have a Could you call that a god TR with the big key in the first chest? It does mean we could skip vanilla big key chest, though.
Not necessarily.
Don't we only need 3 keys to get to Trinex?
Yeah, but there isn't guaranteed to be a key on Laser Bridge.
Ah.
It's just really, really likely. So like the normal route through Gomo TR is to skip the vanilla big key chest and the big chest. But it's possible that both of those locations have small keys, in which case there isn't enough keys left over for there to be one on Laser Bridge.
I see. Well, we did find 2 keys back-to-back in Crystal Roller Room. Humbug is taking it very cautiously here not to get hit by those Crystal Rollers. Those do... Is it 2 hearts on Blue Mail? Or is it
3 on Blue Mail.
Wow, so yeah, those still hurt.
I think it's 3 on Blue Mail. 4, 3, 2? It might be 4, 2, 1.
Oops. Humbug having a little elevator issue because of that Stalfos.
I think it's 4, 2, 1. It's B2 on Blue Mail.
Chat brings up a good point. There might, if Humbug does not find a sword here on Turtle Rock, he might temporarily mirror the Tower of Hera to check for one. Because it is right along the way.
That would be crazy. I'd be very surprised if he didn't Terror before GT. Like there's a world where like he does the basement, gets the big key, and then does Hera before climbing the gauntlet. But I feel like he'd definitely go into GT first.
Makes sense. That's an interesting bunny sprite.
Oh, the Yoshi egg.
Yeah, and we finally get a look at what was on Ether Tablet. It was a heart piece. And it was a small key in the vanilla big key chest. All right, Illis is now in Turtle Rock. So yeah, he is catching up fast. Oh, Illis checked Ether earlier? Okay. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Humbug is a full clearing TR here. He's making sure he's not going to leave a sword behind.
You think he'll check Mimic Cave?
I think he will, yeah. So there's only one small key. There's only one small key left in Turtle Rock, and it can be in the big chest here. If that is the case, and Illis does the normal go mode route, it's going to be pretty amusing.
Oh, because that means Illis skips the two.
Yeah, it'll skip 2 keys, and
one of those is mandatory.
It's really, really rare for that to happen, but it's happened before.
To answer question, chat, I think there was a shield on the library, if you're wondering where the known shield was.
I was just a compass. Illis is safe.
Lucky.
Yeah, it's just from these like 7 locations that these 2 small keys can be in, they have to be in exactly these 2 for everything to line up.
Oh, that's where the shield was. It was in the Lost Woods, not the library. I'm sorry, folks.
Oh, a sword for Humbug!
That is a Turtle Rock bailout right there.
All right, so he's burned quite a bit of time through this dungeon so far, just from like checking Mimic Cave in the big chest and general execution mistakes like with that Crystal Roller room. But he definitely has a lead right now over Illis.
Yeah, Illis is still going to check the vanilla big key chest out of safety anyway.
Yeah. No. He's just grabbing the key.
Oh, okay.
He will, however, check that crystal roller room chest looking for the small key, which will end up being on Laser Bridge. Which means that he will have Tempered Sword. So that Tempered Sword can propel Illis past Humbug, even though Humbug currently has the lead.
True, unless of course we find another sword in GT or on Laser Bridge here. Now, Humbug's got to be a little careful, kind of low on health, but does get around the second laser no problem. Decides not to check those last two chests. Elects to go with Master Sword.
Yeah, we're in gun mode. Let's do this.
Yeah, this ought to be real interesting, folks, as we come down to the end.
Oh, Illa's playing it safe, going for big chest. That's interesting. Because like he's played so aggressively the whole run. It's surprising to see him trying to avoid this one really rare situation.
All right, Ricky, in the meantime, has picked up his Titan's mitts and is looking to just do the areas around Meyer before heading to Turtle Rock.
So in the end, this actually did end up being quite a nice seed.
Yeah, all things considering, again, if you just decided to go straight to pod after Hype Cave and Lamp for Desert and all that jazz, you really could have just gone to that and then pretty much just zip the rest of the seed.
Yeah, it's not like, yeah, it would have been better if they went to pod first, but like after doing all of the things that made the most sense, pod eventually just made the most sense. So like it's really hard to dodge them amidst this seed. And then with the medallion not being super trolly, just being right outside TR, like it's just really convenient.
Indeed, but that is the 7th crystal for Humbug, so it is time for the big key guessing game. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 22 locations and 21 chests and 1 torch in the basement of Ganon's tower where the big key could be located. Get your guesses in chat, anywhere from 1 to 22, where you think that big key is going to be hiding. I'm just going to go down the middle and say 10 this time around. What about you, Coy? Where do you think it's going to wind up?
I kind of want it to be somewhere that Illis isn't going to check right away, because
Wow.
I think Illis is going to overtake Humbug with the Tempered Sword, and I want it to be somewhere like maybe Illis has the Hope Route and Humbug finds it in Compass Room or something and creates just a little wider lead.
But I gotta compliment Humbug for a second because he just did 4 perfectly timed hook shot dodges from Lionel fireballs on the way back to Ganon's tower. So I have to compliment that kind of precision dodging.
It would have been faster to just take the damage, though. We're speed running, right?
Aw, it's not the torch. Alright, also, by the way, guesses are closed.
Alright, so we are officially in go mode.
Wow, this is Illis like less than a minute behind Humbug getting into GT. Second chest, Compass. Third chest, first picked up shield. Fourth chest, heart piece, and free health. Fifth chest, the bug net. Well, we still need that for Aga 2, right?
Something like that.
But no, Humbug now elects to take that key and go to the right side. Where he finds the other shield and another small key.
And looks like they will be doing different routes here. Illa's starting on the right side. There is a small key in these 2 chests, though, so Illis can do Compass Room after this, or continue on to left side. Going Compass Room.
So yeah, according to chat, we have a 1 minute 8 second lead amongst between Humbug and Illis right now. Next 4 chests, we do get a mail upgrade, which is unfortunately not what Humbug is looking for, but red mail isn't going to be a bad thing either, especially since he picked up some blue goo just before dipping Turtle Rock and Meyer.
So Humbug mirroring after Compass Room means that he is taking the Pink Magician route, trying to put Ice Armos as the last thing he does.
Yeah, that was checks 8 through 11, so 11 was the red mail.
It looks like Illis will do the same, although because he did right side first, we call this the hybrid route. So no time really gained or lost here between them. I think Illis's route is like 10 seconds faster or something for getting to this big key.
Yeah, and at this point, with the small gap in between our runners, it's enough of a gap for swords to matter. Now, granted, both of our runners have silver arrows, but it's going to be phase 1. That's phases 1 and 2, really. That's going to be the defining moment here. Not to mention the Aga 2 RNG. That is chest 13. No luck yet. Next stop is the Rando Room, aptly named because you only visit it in Randomizer.
I'm gonna go to Rando Room in my next NMG run, just to spite you. Were you saying Rando only? Heck no.
14, Piece of Heart. 15 and 16, Big 20. 17 is our big key. So the winner of our big key guessing game is... I gotta go way up because there were a lot of early guesses. Our winner is... our first winner, or I should say our only winner, is SSBM Oro with a guess of 17 on the nose. Congratulations. You have won a lifetime supply of Link to the Past Randomizer seeds.
Well, it's going to be all execution from here on out. Humbug still has a lead, but that Tempered Sword is going to cut into it every single room.
Indeed, this is we told you before it was going to be a good one, folks, and this is why. All right, we're getting time checks from Sandling in chat saying that is a 51 second difference right now.
It used to be 1:08. What happened?
Meanwhile, Tala is now just dipping into Turtle Rock as Ricky is just finishing up Vitreous.
Oh, Illa's taking a fall on the bridge. Every second matters.
Ooh, Humbug did miss a silver arrow for land mode 2. Well, we are at the edge of our seats up here in the booth, ladies and gentlemen, for sure.
Man, you got a seat in the booth? I'm down here on the sidelines. Yeah, that temper sword made a big difference with the gauntlet. Only like 30 seconds behind now.
Wow. Not to mention, Illis also got a clean 0 cycle. So yeah, Humbug lost 2 cycles to missing that first silver arrow.
Well, at least the swords won't make a big difference for the rest of the tower, but Ganon, it definitely will. And
Well,
Humbug,
there's a
Humbug has
mushroom.
chests. He's checking these chests looking for a sword. Illis is going to definitely skip them.
All right, here's Moldorm 2 for Humbug. Oh no, took a fall.
And I think that's going to be the end of Humbug's lead.
It is for now, but we shall see if Illis has the same luck. But one spin on Moldorm 2 from a Tempered Sword at this point should do it. And it does.
Nice birds.
Of course they were in the last chest.
Rude. How rude.
Well, at least I had one laughing moment. I was hoping for Quake on the pedestal, but this works too. Alright, so it looked like a single double-double so far. Yeah, single, double, single.
So it's not quite over yet. It is possible for Illis to die and or fall to Ganon. It's just a player of Illis's caliber, like, you don't expect
unlikely.
things like that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Illis does have red mail, but only 4.5 hearts. I don't know if Illis picked up a potion. Did you remember him picking up a potion?
No, he didn't.
He didn't?
He won't need it, though. Like, we'll probably see the 1-in-1 without taking any damage here.
Yeah, I know Illis had to... I think Illis had to burn his fairy, though, on Mothula. So we'll see. And Ganon asks, why rule over a desert when I can corrupt a whole dark world instead? And yeah, you saw Illis...
He missed the 1-in-1 and took damage.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, and
no!
died! And Humbug takes the lead again!
Wow! Although Humbug's got to be a little careful, because down to 5 hearts already. But is still on phase 1. Ooh, that's a great Ganon position right there. We have got both runners hitting phase 2 less than 5 seconds apart here.
Yeah, Illis is going to be able to phase it in 1 cycle, where Humbug's going to take at least 2. And Illis doesn't phase it in 1 cycle. Why do I even talk?
Yeah, Humbug unfortunately needs to take a minute to burn the blue goo.
Alright, there's phase 3 for Illis. And Illis already in phase 4. 3 arrows down, 1 to go.
And with 4 skewers to the big pig, that's gonna be the end. Now there is just one thing separating Illis from from victory, and that is that dangerous 1x3 bridge, which semi-recently did claim somebody. But with that, get your GGs in chat for Illis, who finishes in 3rd place overall amongst our community, 1st place on the restream with an official SRL time of 1:32.55. Our winner today of the community race was Kroken1, who finished with an SRL time of 1:28.57. Our 2nd place finisher was Julin Ninja, had an SRL time of 1:32.18. So GG's to our runners today.
Oh, that's a little surprising. I would have thought Illis would have placed a little worse than that with the Moon Pearl fumble. But I guess other people probably just did the same gamble.
And we have Illis joining us now in chat. Illis, GG, fantastic race.
GG. Turns out skipping the Moon Pearl was the right choice, right?
Dude, you kept making a liar out of me.
Humbug
with
just
your,
fell.
with your Ganon fight. Like you were behind Humbug entering GT, and then you took the lead with when he took like a fall to Moldorm 2. And I thought, well, there's no way Illis loses from here because, like, well, it's possible for him to fall or die to Ganon. It's Illis. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, that was not my best Ganon fight. Even the 2nd round wasn't too good. Like, I thought that I could take a hit with 2.5 hearts, given that I don't hug him. Otherwise, I would have used the potion, but, well, that happens. It happens rarely, but it happens, I guess.
Yeah, Humbug ended up never dipping Tower of Hera, so he was shortest sword on you.
Oh yeah, I think that skipping the Moon Pearl in the end somehow benefited me. Like, I didn't skip that sword in Hera, I did skip the Ice Rod. I had basically everything but nits before entering
Would you have
Dark World.
skipped Hera if you had the Moon Pearl though? Because you still had to go up there to get the flippers.
Kind of depends.
And if I remember right,
on
you
the seed.
did Hera before East of Mountain.
Yeah, in that case I did. Like, I was looking for the Moon Pearl, for Dark World Access in general. I might have skipped out on it, since the only thing that I really needed was like nits, and maybe a medallion. It turned out Quake was required. So if there's less items necessary for me, I tend to skip more. So yeah, I probably would have skipped it in this case because we were so overloaded with items.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Because by the time we had Dark World access, you were able to clear literally everything except Ice Palace, Mire, and Total Rock.
Well, and so I did, right? Almost. I thought, like, yeah, I will probably find nits somewhere in the Crystal Dungeons. Turns out I didn't. And I reluctantly went into House of Darkness after clearing a bit of extra overworld, because I figured, yeah, it's probably in there, right? And I was a bit nervous when there was nothing in the main part of Pod, but after turning in that green pendant, I was like, yeah, of course. What else would happen, right?
And then just to add, just add insult to injury, boots in the Moldorm 2 chest.
Yeah, I don't mind. Like, it was a quick seed anyway. Who needs boots?
Ooh, and based on the credits, we see that the powder was on the pedestal.
Fun.
Oh, Ricky. Oh, that's Total Rock Laser Bridge. Never mind. Ooh, Humbug just took another death to Ganon. Wow, Ganon has not been nice to Humbug.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that you still managed to snag 3rd place in this race because there was so much potential for time save. Like you obviously lost time from the double dipping Eastern, but also you imagine somebody somewhere would have just gone straight to Pod.
But if you go straight to pot, you get mids early, and if you get mids early, you skip your ice rod for more time. It feels like a time save, but in most cases it really is not, except if you're just blindly full clearing everything on the way. And even then, when are you routing in Zora? When are you routing in Catfish? I think skipping that Moon Pearl benefited me in the end.
Well, I just think
So-
of like how I personally would have routed through the seed. Like I think the first thing I would have done in the dark world wouldn't have been a crystal. I would have done like Catfish into Zora checks, just because like that's such a convenient way to do these really out of the way checks, so that I can beat somebody like, I don't know, Illis.
You've already beaten me in the qualifiers on Sunday, so
It
that's
was
fine,
a
right?
lucky route through that one. I don't know, just a little surprising to me that nobody found the god route through the seed.
I'm not terribly surprised. If, as I said before, if you find the mids early, you're gonna get stuck up on other things, like maybe a lack of swords, maybe you don't find the ice rod, maybe you full clear ice palace in the search of that, for example. There are so many things that can go wrong, and I'm not too surprised. But yeah, there were some people who were like faster than me that have probably a better, or had probably a better route in this case.
Yeah, probably just like even just not doing the double dip of Eastern would have made up that time.
Yeah, for sure. But I might have skipped out on the ice rod as well.
Right. I mean, I totally get why you skipped the vanilla Bikini Chest in Eastern. Like, that seemed like the perfect time to do it if you're ever making a gamble like that. It just totally burned you today.
I actually tend to not skip it in the early game because you're usually
Yeah.
still looking for the Moon Pearl and you don't want to miss out on those early checks. But in that case, I figured like, yeah, we have a ton of items. There's not gonna be something really important behind that room. And
Yeah,
with the
with
fire
the
rod,
fire
almost
rod,
isn't logic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I figured I could skip it for once.
Yeah, we were just giggling to ourselves a little bit at the start of how, like, Escape found you got Bow from Uncle, then Hammer and Fire Rod. It's like, could that be any more convenient of an escape item sequence, along with the 3 bombs from the chest, the first chest?
Well, we could have found the mirror in Escape.
That's true. But anywho's, get your GGs in for Humbug, who finishes in 8th place overall with an official SRL time of 1:40.29. Our other finishers during that time was Dragon Strike 1988, 4th place with 1:38.26. Matt the Ogre in 5th with 1:39.05. Etium with 6th at 1:39.17. And Co-Ride at 1:39.38. That's good for 7th place. So GGs to Humbug and our other finishers. Meanwhile, we've been kind of neglecting the left side of the screen this whole time. Tala is now in the GT gauntlet, and Ricky is looking for that big key.
Yeah, Tala had a similar route to you, Illis, skipping that Moon Pearl really early, and then just I'm not entirely sure what made the big difference here. Mostly just execution, I would think. But you guys pretty much had the same route throughout the game.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then Ricky, I think, is a more newer player. Definitely had some fumbles that don't happen to our more experienced runners. But, you know, still in GT, sub 2, making it happen. And we welcome Humbug to the voice chat. How you doing? GG.
GG. How you doing? Well,
Break my heart, Humbug.
I know. Mine too. I really botched that Ganon fight. I hate Master Sword Ganon a lot.
Do you want to know where the where a third sword was?
Hang on. I don't know. Ice Armos? No. What's
No,
just?
Tower of Hera's big chest.
Oh Jesus. Well, I didn't go to her at all, and in the end, I think I kind of were better off. But I don't know. I mean, I should be able to do Master Sword Ganon at this point. It was stream jitters, I guess.
It happens to the best of us. No worries. But
Yeah.
I do have to compliment you because you did not get. You ended up not missing out a couple of checks that everybody else ended up doing. Because what happened during the run is Illis and Tala both skipped the vanilla big key chest in Eastern, thereby skipping out on the Moon Pearl.
Oh.
Ricky did not do Spiral Cave for the longest time, missing out on the flippers, which by extension would have led to Ice Rod
Yeah,
and Gloves.
that big key chest in Eastern. I know that some people gamble on it being useless, but I never have the hearts to do that. So I always go for it, and this time it paid out. I was happy for it.
Yeah, ultimately, between you and Illis, you were both pretty much doing the best you could getting through GT, and one of the major differences, besides Ganon, was unfortunately you were down that one sword.
Yeah.
You had the lead by 1 minute and 8 seconds, I think was what it was, opening GT. But then by the time it got to Ganon, Illis was ahead like 10 seconds.
Okay. Did he do Dark Magician? Well,
He
sort of
did.
Dark Magician.
He did
I
Hybrid
did
Route and he
Dracula.
did Pink Magician. It was basically the same. The fall to Moldorm and the extra cycle on Lambo 2 were the big things.
Don't worry, I meaninglessly died to Ganon. And I lost, I don't know,
Yeah,
40, 50
so-
seconds to that.
So
Yeah,
Illis gets to Ganon first and then immediately dies.
On the subject of deaths to Ganon, unfortunately, Tala just took one as well.
Oof.
Nobody wants to use the cape today.
Cape or Burn, we found both of those like ridiculously, well, not ridiculously early, but we found both of those fairly respectably early.
I mean, I'm not a hater on the cape. I just figured I would try some dash strats for top because it's not 100% consistent, and I want to practice that on the way, basically. If Ganon's on the bottom, dashing through him and getting the 12 dashes in is a bit easier. So yeah, I wanted to practice because I didn't win anyway.
How about those boots?
Good
Oh
boots.
boy. Yeah,
Well,
we were,
they were kind of in the perfect chest because the room after that you really want the boots.
to be fair, they at least served that purpose.
Yeah, but that's basically the only one. Well, I used them outside of the pyramid to get the fairy. What, 3 times?
Take
Although,
what you can get.
I was telling Koi earlier I was gonna laugh out loud if Quake was on the pedestal, because until we saw it in Hookshot Cave, we were wondering, okay, where's our Quake medallion? Because we clearly need it, and then it ended up not being on pedestal, and I was like, aw. And then I see boots in the Moldorm 2 chest, and then I start laughing. But with that, Tala has defeated the Big Pig and is only separated by a 1.3 bridge. A 1x3 bridge, not 1.3, 1x3 bridge. And that is going to be GG's for Tala, who finishes in 18th place with an SRL time of 146.58. And even the Triforce agrees, GG.
GG.
What were your thoughts on the early start, the stacked start humbug?
The stack start was, well, unexpected, since the last seed that I played, the qualifiers were quite the opposite. So I was happy about that. Escape, especially, was really stacked. What was that? Bow, hammer,
Bow, hammer,
fire rod, right? Yeah.
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 And then Kakariko had Mirror, Bombos, which ultimately ended up not being needed, and Flute.
Kane as well, right? No?
And Cane, yeah.
Yeah, Kane, yeah.
And then just to add more fuel to the fire, Hookshot in Mini Moldorm Cave.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of items in the Sphere 1, Sphere 0 location, basically.
Yeah, but then pretty much everybody ended up full clearing all the crystal dungeons before dipping Pod to get those mitts off the green pendant of all things.
Yeah. I mean, when I got Dark World access, I could basically do Swamp, Skullwoods, and Thieves Town, clear it all out, and then the route just ended up in Pod, like naturally. So it was a natural choice for me to go that way. And it was nice that was the Swamp and Eastern were the 5-6 crystals, so I could take care of the big bomb right after Swamp, and then go up to Zora to get the Ice Rod.
Yeah, we were wondering whether early Pyramid Fairy would be interesting, but it ended up being a big fat bait.
It's
Well,
never a Pyramid Fairy if it's available that early.
fair enough.
I remember the first seed I commented had a very late bow, which was on Pyramid Fairy. And we now have Tale in chat with us. GG's to you.
Ja, dann GG.
GG, Tale.
GG.
So, your thoughts on the seed?
Nothing to say.
So you actually had pretty much the same route through the game as Illis did, both making that unfortunate skip in Eastern Palace that actually had the Moon Pearl.
Yeah. The beginning was like, what the fuck? I think I could get everything.
Ooh, I gotta stop you for just a quick second. So Ricky just took a KO to Aga 2, and I believe as a result of that has forfeited the race.
Yeah, pretty
And,
frustrating.
Yeah, climbing all of GT again, that is never something you want to do.
Yeah.
I think the other big thing that you ended up losing to in time to that nobody else did, Tala, was you did Eastern before the flipper checks. So Illis was able to full clear because he had the glove, where you had to go get the glove and then go back. So that ended up being a little bit of a time loss.
Yeah.
But mostly you guys pretty much did the exact same things throughout the whole seed.
Illis left Pot behind for a while.
Everybody left Pod behind until they full cleared the crystal dungeons first.
Yeah.
And then I had not much else left. Or like we had.
And once you get the mitts, as long as you found that Ice Rod on Zora, like the seed was pretty straightforward from there. You go check the Meyer medallion, then you go straight to TR and find the medallion right outside.
And of course it had to be Quake.
Right.
Well, for this, if nothing else, Quake was at least under the mat. Under the doormat.
Kind of.
Well, it's the closest you can get to under the doormat.
Yeah. It should have been in Meyer's shed. I really thought it would be in the Meyer's shed. It always is.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Yep.
But with that, is there anything else that you all of you want to say about the seed?
Well, it was a nice seed, apart from the lack of swords. It was much nicer than the qualifier seeds, that's for sure. So it was fun.
I'll skip the Eastern big vanilla big key chest anytime again.
Agree to disagree, I guess.
Also, putting off pod was a good thing. I'm glad I did that as well.
Yep.
And I'm glad it's not the seed from yesterday.
All right, so I'm kind of out of the loop here. What happened yesterday? Because now I'm curious.
Why not just get like a 130 like Ultima did? What happened?
I heard there was a fire rod in pendant ice, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh boy.
And I guess Darkwood access 30 minutes?
Oof.
Have to go around the world to get your Darkwood access.
I think I heard shenanigans like mids on pendant armor knights with bow a bit deeper in logic. So
Yes.
it was something that people suffered from, along with the Ice Palace Fire Rod.
Oh, okay.
So I think Ricky's telling us he's gonna opt out of doing the interview with us. Just a little frustrated from the run. Cannot blame him. Dying at the top of Canaan's Tower is probably the worst thing that could ever happen in a typical rando seed. So with that, I think we're ready to wrap it up. What do you say, Captain?
I say definitely a fantastic performance by all of our runners this afternoon. Now, if you folks are looking for any more speed gaming action this afternoon, we currently have a Mario Kart 64 time trial race going on the main channel, as well as the Undertale Fall Tournament Genocide mode in progress on Channel 2. If you would like to see more, a link to the past randomizer daily race, we should have a race tonight at 9. Channel to be determined. But with that said, Koi, is there anything you would like to say before we wrap up?
Hashtag bootsless, not bootsless.
That's gonna be...
Did you find the boots?
Yeah, I found the boots.
They were in
It was
the
fun.
last chest in GT.
Yeah, they were in the Moldorm 2 chest. And I burst out laughing when we found those.
I'm glad it was something that gave us a good laugh. And by the way, thank you guys for commentating. I'm sure you did a great job. I'll probably rewatch it soon.
Yeah,
And,
thank you
for
very much
listening.
for doing this.
Anytime. And again, GG.
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 All right. Well, with that said, I believe that concludes this afternoon's episode of the A Link to the Past Randomizer Daily Race. With that said, on behalf of my co-commentator Koi, our trackers Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna and Nilson Alex 92, and Fear Agent on Tech Crew, and all of the staff at Speed Gaming, we wish you a good day, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, Captain. We'll see you guys. Bye.
See ya.